behind. We should think about the people that we pass through that road as well. So we need to make it safe. We need to make it good. We need to make it clean for everyone so that the experience will be there. And whether we like it or not, we are out to have experience. We have to have an experience with the environment. What are you taking out from the environmental space that you find yourself, where you do your business, where you live, where you do whatsoever? What experience are you trying to create out of that environment in terms of how you carry out your activities? And that is why, for me, I thought so now we need to start thinking about living responsibly, and not just responsibly. We need to start thinking about living sustainably as well. So it is about taking actions or doing things that are sustainable over time. It's about doing something that's years to come. You can say, okay, fine, the impact I did last year can still be felt, or is still sustainable to a point. And that's why we shouldn't just be thinking about just now, today. We need to think about tomorrow. We need to think about the future. We need to think about creating an enabling environment that will make life easy for people and those living around you. And so that is what we are passionate about. And that's why in our organizations, we work a lot with volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers on our platform, online and offline, because we know that we cannot do it alone. Should I go ahead?
Okay, now talking about online. Hang on, I have a question for you. That's why I just had to let you step down so that I would comment. All right, you said offline and online. I would like to know, do you have an office, like a physical office, or your office is online as well?
We have a physical office in Lagos, but I'm speaking with you now from our physical office in Lagos. Yeah, somewhere in Irakari is
Oh,
solo access in Lagos. That's our physical office is. So we run programs as well, offline programs where we talk to people about
okay.
issues about the environment. So they come to our office at times. We have seminar, we have workshop. We talked about environmental sustainability. So we have volunteers. So we do meetings. We strategize. We plan what we can do that will have a positive impact on the environment. So we have a physical office as well as an online office. I think I've answered your question, right?
Oh, yes, you have. Okay, so like you're saying, we do meetings, we meet people, and we have to sensitize people. How do you achieve this? Like, do you just come to a location and say, I want to sensitize people? Or how do you go about it?
Okay, beautiful. And that would take me to one of the
Hello, can you
projects.
still hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, your question will take
Clearly.
me to one of the projects that we run in our organization, which is known as the Clean
Oh,
Up Nigerian projects.
just hold that at 1 minute, please. Can you adjust the camera so we'll see your face some more? We can see more of a blinds behind you.
I actually wanted to put up the camera so I can use the voice. Okay, let me see if I can adjust now.
All
Uh,
right, this is fair. Somewhere.
is it
Okay,
fair? Can
we
this
can
work?
deal with.
Okay.
Yes, this is fine. So tell us how you
Okay.
go about it.
Okay. Thank you. You're putting me on hotspot, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I don't like putting people on hotspot, but you just have to, right? Pardon me. Just flog me outside here. Yes, you can just a stroke of the cane, but let's go ahead. Hello, are
We've
you
been
still
running
there?
that for 10 years consistently now. And so what that does for us is would map out a particular location in a community where would want to clean up. And so we'll mobilize volunteers together. We'll go into the
Mm-hmm.
community and we'll do the proper cleaning. And our cleaning is virtually done in two ways. There's an advocacy part, and there's also the proper cleanup part where you go to the gutters with drainages and need to dig out all of those stuff. And there's a part of sensitization where you talk to people that lives around the community or do business around why they should be part of doing why they should be doing things that have a positive impact on the environment. And so we don't just clean and just go alone. We involve the sensitization and the cleaning together. So it becomes like a complete package we're taking to a community. And so most times people reach out to us to say, okay, fine, my community is bad, it's dirty. Please, can you guys do something about it? So when we get information like that, what we do is to do our own background checkup of such
Okay.
locations that have been mentioned. We'll go and do our findings to actually sure if the place they said is that dirty in quotes is actually something that deserves cleanup. And so when we do a background checkup and we find out that the place is good for cleanup, then the next thing would be for us, after we've done the proper mapping, is to look out for the stakeholders that are in that community or that do stuff around that particular place, because what we do what we call a community-led total sanitation. So because it's a
All right.
community-led total sanitation, everyone around that community needs to be involved. If they have a ballet, we'll get the ballet involved. If they have a CDA, which is the Community Development Associations, we'll get them involved. If there's markets in that community, in that location, we'll get the heads of the markets and those in that market involved. If there's businesses around them, we'll get them involved. Every stakeholder that are within that community where we want to do this cleanup, we'll get them involved. Why are we doing all of this? Because for us, it's not just about a one-day exercise. For us, it's about doing something that can be sustainable over time. And so when we come out on a particular day to do a kind of cleanup, a major cleanup, and we get all these people involved, we are passing a message. And what is the message? The message is this, that we don't need to wait for the government to come and take or do something or clean up our environment for us. Where we do our business, where we live, we have a responsibility to take in terms of ensuring that that place is clean and safe for everyone living on their business around that area.
Hold that thought. That's a good one, but there's something about Nigerians, mostly some local communities. After, there are some states, or let me say most states on Saturdays, maybe they're the first Saturday of a month or the last Saturday of a month, they have a cleanup exercise where everybody comes out to do the general cleanup and all of that. But you will agree with me that oftentimes, right after that cleanup exercise, Nigerians go back, or people in that community go back to who they were. Like, they don't care anymore. They throw things around. They don't use the trash cans and all of that. Is there a follow-up after you do your cleanup exercises?
And that is the essence behind our getting the stakeholders in that community involved. Because we know that after the one-day exercise, we might leave.
Oh, we just don't want to lose him. We hope that he'll get right back. I don't know if the network is this bad. But people, if you just joined us, this is Elombah TV, and you've got Lydia Odwada right here hosting Alexander Akhigbe, who is the CEO of Africa Cleanup Initiative. They are involved in cleaning Africa, making sure that Africa is a clean continent, not just in Nigeria. And of course, he did tell us that. Okay, welcome back. You were frozen at some point. I wouldn't know. So I didn't get most of what you said. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Okay, good. Oh no, not again. This is not happening again. Ah, network, can you just be friendly just this once, please? I really am enjoying the session. I'm having fun, and why will the network just act up like this and leaving us all hanging?
No, the network.
Okay, okay. So you've sorted that out. Yes, you're back. Welcome back.
Okay, thank you very, very much. So sorry about that.
It's
Okay,
okay.
I was talking about the need why we involve all of these stakeholders I've just mentioned is because of the plan we
Yeah.
have around, which is an answer to your question going forward. And most times these are adults, and some of them have developed this habit of doing it
Over
the
time.
wrong way.
Yeah.
You keep talking, and you keep shouting, and it's as if little or nothing is being done. And that's why also, as part of the things we do in our organization, is we also go to the primary schools, we go to the secondary schools, start talking to the kids from that tender level, so that they grow up with this understanding and this knowledge that when it comes to our environment, I have a part to play to ensure it's sustainable. It's not just about the government or about my parents, but this with the adults. Most times, at times when we do cleaners, you imagine people just stand there looking at us and they're like, wow,
Like,
this really.
are you for real?
And we won't tell you, oh, because they want a political ambition, or maybe they're
Oh.
government, and you are like that. So who says this was they don't have work? Oh, you can imagine they are just cleaning the gutter for us. That would tell you to an extent the kind of mindset that people have towards the environment, and that's why the advocacy for us is very, very important. And people need to know, people need to understand why
Yes.
they need to keep their environment clean. We're talking about flooding, we're talking about blocked drainages, we're talking about sicknesses that you can contact from the dirty environment. All of these things are things they need to understand, that when it comes to the issue of the environment, it's not about the government, it's about every one of us, because we live there, we do business there. We need to make it safe for us and for our kids. We've seen videos of places where flood has carried a younger kid, a young child, and all of those things are, to an extent, at times it can be preventable, especially when you know that the drainage in your own house, your own compound, your own environment, to an extent you're doing what you need to do to make it clean at all times. But this nonchalant attitude that we have most times towards the environment is what is affecting us. And because we are used to blaming somebody, and somebody will tell you, I pay my tax, and so why should I environment for it? And I begin to wonder, the government, the government, the so-called government, or the people in position, they don't live where you live. You're the one that lives here.
That's
We need to
correct.
understand that environment can breed something that can be more healthy for every one of us. And the same thing with the dirty environment can give birth to sicknesses and affect our productivity to a large extent. COVID-19 so came about, and everybody started thinking about washing your hands. Washing your hands is something that consciously should be your lifestyle. You don't even need COVID-19 to come, and that's why we do proper hand washing as part of the things we do in our organization. The project we run, under wash, the proper hygiene, why you need to wash your hand. You understand all of those things. We teach the kids, and so they understand that when it comes to the environment, you have to think about it first. You have to consider yourself first. You need to consider the impact it's going to have on you, your environment, and your family as well. There's what I call the personal social responsibility. So the personal social responsibility is something more like, what are you doing? What is your own personal commitment towards your environment? So from the corporate point of view, they will tell you corporate social responsibility. And so every corporate organization wants to do something corporately that will have a positive, more like a give back to where they do their business, or to people, or to humanity. That's from the corporate point of view. So, but we humans, human beings, we should have a personal social responsibility. And it can be as simple as don't litter. It can be as simple as use the bin. It can be as simple as don't turn your waste into the gutter, especially now that the rains are coming. It's another opportunity for a lot of people to turn their waste into the gutter, just thinking that the water will just carry the waste like that to somewhere, not knowing that it is garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what you get back in return. So that's just it.
All right. So let me go some more on this. You involve the CDAs, you involve the rulers, and everybody very in authority in that location that you should involve to make sure that what you have done is continued. Like, it doesn't just die with that initial point. Okay. Now, do you go back, or is there a team in your organization that goes back to say, okay, let's inspect or let's supervise what's going on. Let's see how far they are going with what we have started. Or you just leave the weight to the leaders who are supposed to be responsible for that act or action, or to carry it on.
Okay, because we are an NGO, and our tax is not just limited to one community alone. We do as much.
All right, that's correct.
We have a project known as the Green Mayor projects.
Okay.
So the Green Mayor, there are people in each local government. The plan is to get them across Nigeria and beyond. So the Green Mayor, they are more like the leader, the captain of each local government that takes responsibility for what happens in their local government. So that is a branch under what we do as an organization. So in some of the locations where we have these people, after the major event that happens one day, it is their own responsibility to ensure that the place remains clean and clean all the time. So they're also empowered to carry projects at interval. They're also empowered to do advocacy at interval at their community level. So the green mayors are people
Okay.
that operate at the community level, the local community level. So the plan is in each local
Okay.
government, you have a captain, a green mayor captain that also have a team that he or she works with and take responsibility for their own local government. So this plan is our own
That's
sustainability
awesome.
plan in place to ensure that they're not just going back and check one off, but ensuring that going forward, everybody that needs to be involved when it comes to keeping the environment clean in your community, they are involved and they are doing what they need to do to an extent. I know we are working with adults, we cannot force them, might not get 100% result on ground,
That's
but
correct.
little things that's actually making mighty and great impact at the community level.
Wow. That's interesting. All right, people, if you just joined us, this is Elombah TV, and we've been talking with with Alexander Akhigbe, rather. He is a CEO, Africa Cleanup Initiative. And what do? They ensure that our community is not just clean but friendly for us all. And it's not just a Nigerian thing, it's cut across the continent. And um, just before we start asking questions, I want to know if they would have questions as well. We can entertain questions, but I want to ask you now, this is on behalf of our viewers. So if I have an environment or some community that I transit through and I see that they are not very clean, I can actually reach out to you and say, I saw something around this location. Please do something about it.
Yeah, that is possible too. Like I did mention before that before we organize any cleanup, most times we get feedback from people. They invite us to say, okay, fine. They send us an email to say, okay, fine. We discover X, Y, Z, and we know the place needs proper cleaning. If your organization can do something about it, so on our part, we'll just do the follow up to actually confirm. So if you find somewhere you think it's too bad and nobody's doing anything about it, and that's where we come in. What you don't need to do, either you send us a text message or you send us a WhatsApp chat or you do us an email, we will follow up. And once we follow up, we'll get in touch with you because you might have some other valuable information you wish to share about that location or community, which we need to know that will help us in the plan. So once we have all of that in place, then we'll go ahead with the planning and look out for do the proper mapping. Part of the mapping is we need to identify the stakeholders in that community and see how we can get them involved, get the state government involved as well. In Lagos State, we have a wonderful relationship with the Minister of Environment and the Lagos Waste Management Authority. That's normal. So it's only most times easier for us to get them to be part of our event. We've been doing this for 10 years now. So we are building some level of relationship. Yeah, we started in December 2010. And so this year, December 2010, 2020 will be 20 years on this particular tags. If you go and check our social media handle on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, search for ACI Nigeria. A for Apple, C for Church, I for Innovation. ACI, they put Nigeria to it, one word. Search for us on Instagram, Twitter, on Facebook. You will see lots of things that we have done. We run different projects, close to like 8 or 9 different projects. There's one we run currently that has been featured on the CNN and BBC. I've actually captured it. That's the Recycle Pay project that we run, the one that allows parents to pay the school fees of their children using the plastic bottle, pure water sachets, and can. Because and it's actually designed for low-income families, low-income communities. Because most times we discover that most kids are out of school, and if you ask them why you're not in school, they sent me home because I have not paid my school fees. We get still feelings like that, and because we are an NGO, we're passionate about the environment. We start thinking what we can do to make that, to provide a solution that is sustainably as well. That's why we came up with the idea that, okay, fine, we'll partner with these low-income schools and we'll talk to the parents and tell them, okay, fine, bring your bottles, bring your can, bring your pure water sachet, we'll collect them from you, we'll weigh them, and that would be your own currency to pay the school fees if you don't have money.
Interesting. That's a great one. Well done. All right. So we have a question here. This is from Daniel Elombah. He says, what assistance are they receiving from the government in taking care of the environment? That is one. And then another question from the same source says, on my visit to Nigeria, I saw a lot of plastic bottles and plastic bags littering everywhere. Does your organization help to dispose of them? If so, how?
Okay, then talking about the government, the kind of support we receive from the government, they won't give you money. We've not collected, we've not collected money from them to execute any project. but to an
Okay.
extent, they've given us their manpower support. They've given
Reports.
us they've given us what I call it items, resources that we need in terms of, for example, now if we need to do a cleanup, we're going to gather a lot of waste. And we need a compactor to move all this waste from the event because we don't leave this
Of
waste.
course.
So compactor like that, Loma always ensure in Lagos State they provide that for us to move away all the waste. And in the past, at times, they'll bring the advocacy team, they'll come with their boss, they'll move around and do advocacy, create awareness, and talk to people that lives within where we're doing the cleanups. At times, they give us the trash bags, the black bags you use to bag your waste, and they give us some cleaning items to try. So they're very good when it comes to that, ensuring that they are in partnership with what we do. The same thing goes to the Minister of Environment as well. For us in particular, because this is like 10 years now, so we build a relationship with them over time that makes them feel that we're credible, that they can work with us, and that they will just want to be part of what we're doing. Like on the 19th now, this month, we're planning the World Cleanup Day. We're going to also involving them and other stakeholders around. It's going to be, that one is going to be loud as well, September 19th. So that is for that. The second question now is PET bottles will never stop. For now, as long as there are production, people are producing it, you always keep seeing it. If you clean today, go back tomorrow, you will see it again. But what I tell people is that what is the plan you will have to ensure that these bottles don't end up becoming nuisance in the community, but rather is not becoming something of value or an asset. For our recycle space projects now it is value. Bottles and pure water sachets and can, they are currencies for us because it's being used to pay for school fees. And we also work in partnership with the Recyclers Association of Nigeria. And those people are people that are recyclers at different states and communities across Nigeria. So what they do majorly is they collect those bottles. So when we gather bottles from events like that, we don't just keep it to ourselves. We hand it over to these recyclers. For them, it's business. They use it for business. So we hand it over to them in exchange for incentives that we can use to power our project or support the people that are donating those projects to us. So there's always people on ground willing to collect those bottles. But like I said, it will never end as long as this production of bottles is still on. But we just need to ensure that, the bottles every day, bottled water every day, bottled mineral every day, which will stop for now, except there's a ban to say no more single-use plastic. Without any ban, then it keeps coming out in their numbers. But if you have a plan to recover, like we have a project we're running currently in partnership with the Coca-Cola Foundation. And so for Coca-Cola in Nigeria now, why they choose to support us is because they understand the fact that they produce Coke, they produce Fanta, they produce Sprite, and so they say, okay, fine, let us partner with your initiative that recovers some of our bottles from the community. And so that makes a whole lot of sense for them, and that's why they will want to partner with us and some other organizations too that are into recovering or collection of bottles from the community, from the society. There's another platform known as the Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance. It's a body that comprises of up to 10 different multinationals that are into production of bottles or manufacture of bottles, and they also support recyclers to recover bottles from the environment. So a lot of things are in place, but it's just that the process might be slow, but something is working. And because this recycling in this part of the world is new, if I may use that word. When we're growing up, nobody heard about recycling, nobody talks about recycling. The awareness now is popping up like a few years back now. So if we continue like this with every energy, all the drive, over time, people will come to understand that you don't just take your bottled water and put the bottle alongside with other waste. No, you separate the recyclable waste from the non-recyclable waste. So that when you have the recyclable ones, you can call people like our organization to come, and people call us from different parts of the state to say we have bottles to donate. We say, hold on, we will come for it. We cannot go for it. We ask our partner organization to go for it. And that's also helping to recover all these bottles from the community, from the environment.
Supposed to be a waste. All right, this will be the final question just before we call it a day on the session. This is saying, will a ban of using plastic bottles be feasible?
One thing about ban, what's the alternative plan? Before we talk about ban, we should have an alternative.
Something else in place.
If the alternative is not properly worked out, then we shouldn't be talking about ban. because we just put us on a fixed spot. For me, I used to enjoy those days when I use my bottle to buy my maybe mineral or Fanta or Coke. Even till today, I still buy some mineral that has bottle. I mean the bottle than the pet.
The
I'm talking about the
breakable
pet, the plastic,
bottle.
the breakable exactly. I still enjoy it.
Okay.
But why are we having more pets now? Because yes, why are we having more pets now? Because it's durable. It's something that you can carry
Move about
conveniently
with.
about. You understand, and it has its own class in a way than
Yeah.
carrying the broken bottle. You understand? So, and that's why we have more of all of this. But if we have an alternative plan that maybe we should start thinking about. I don't know. Maybe we start thinking about reuse as well. This one-off thing, bottle thing, pet bottles is not just working, but it's what we have at the moment. So I hope that with time it will get better. Where maybe you have bottles where you can, when you empty it, you can still refill it at some point and use again or something like that. But then if we must talk about ban, the question we should have ourselves, what's the alternative? If the alternative is not on ground, there's no point in banning. We just get people get stopped at some point. That's just it.
Yeah. Wow. It's been an interesting one. Just before we go, I'd like to tell everybody who's listening, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, this is the CEO. He is Alexander Akhigbe, the CEO of Africa Cleanup Initiative, and he's on Elombah TV. Of course, discussing how we can keep our environment clean, how we can responsibly do it together. And you've been listening to this voice, who is Lydia Oduada. He's about to step out now, but before he goes, I'd like to say, what are you going to say to our people in summary of everything you've said today? What will you say to them on the environment and its cleanliness?
The environment is the only thing we all have in common, whether
Mm,
you're black, you're white, you're from the east, west, or the south. It is
mm.
our own responsibility to ensure that we protect and celebrate it, and also ensure that you have a personal social responsibility towards the environment. That one thing you want to be known for when it comes to the action that you are taking towards ensuring that the environment is safe and clean for everyone.
Wow, that's a take-home message. Be responsible for your environment. That is one thing we have in common. Make it safe for everyone. Thank you so much. And of course, this is Elombah TV. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get notifications as our posts drop, our videos drop. And to you, Able CEO African Cleanup Initiative, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And
Thank you very much.
have yourself a splendid day. Sabi midwife. Bye for now. Everyone, thank you so much and have yourself a splendid day. Till we come your way
Bye
again,
bye.
do stay safe. Bye.
Bye. Good.